In a bustling city filled with towering skyscrapers and luxury cars, there lived a young boy named Ethan. Ethan was born into a wealthy family. He had everything a child could ever wish for: the latest gadgets, expensive toys, a big mansion with a swimming pool, and even a personal tutor. Despite all this, Ethan often felt bored and unhappy. His parents were always busy with work, leaving him with little company and few friends. One summer, Ethan's father, wanting his son to appreciate their fortune, decided to take him on a trip to the countryside. He thought it would be an eye-opening experience for Ethan to see how people lived without the luxuries he was accustomed to. So they set off for a small village where an old friend of his father, a farmer named Samuel, lived. When they arrived at the farm, Ethan was immediately struck by how different everything was. There were no paved roads, no fancy cars, and certainly no shiny gadgets. The farmer's house was small and made of wood, with a thatched roof. Chickens roamed freely, and cows grazed in the open fields. Despite the simplicity, the farm buzzed with life. Samuel greeted them with a wide smile and a warm embrace. He introduced Ethan to his family, his wife Mary, and their two children, Lily and Jack. Ethan spent the next few days with the farmer's family, helping out with chores like feeding the animals, planting seeds, and collecting fresh eggs. At first, he found the work tiring and dirty, but he quickly noticed something about the farmer and his family. They were always smiling and laughing. They worked hard, but they enjoyed every moment of it. In the evenings, they would gather around a fire, share stories, sing songs, and eat meals prepared with ingredients they had grown themselves. The father, quietly observing, was certain this trip would give his son the perspective he wanted him to gain. He expected Ethan to be shocked by the contrast between their world and this one. He hoped his son would finally understand just how privileged they were. On the last day of their visit, as they were preparing to leave, the father asked his son, "So, how was the trip? Did you see how poor people live?" Ethan, who had been deep in thought, looked up and said, "I did, Dad. I saw everything." Curious, his father asked, "And what did you learn?" Ethan paused, reflecting on the days they had spent with the farmer's family. Then he spoke with a newfound understanding. "I learned that we have one dog, but they have four who run free. We have a pool, but they swim in a river that goes on for miles. We have lights in our house, but they have the stars to light up their sky." He continued, "We have walls around our house for protection, but they have friends who protect each other because they're like family. We buy food from stores, but they grow their own and share it with their neighbors. And we have everything money can buy, but they seem so much richer because they're happy and connected to each other." Ethan smiled softly and said, "Thanks, Dad, for showing me how poor we are." In that moment, Ethan's father was stunned. The trip, intended to show his son the struggles of others, had revealed the true wealth of the village. A richness not of material things, but of community, nature, and simplicity. He realized that in chasing wealth, they had overlooked the deeper joy that comes from a meaningful, connected life. As they drove back to the city, both father and son sat quietly, absorbing the lessons they had learned. Ethan's father, moved by his son's insights, promised that things would be different. They would focus less on accumulating things and more on creating moments of connection, gratitude, and joy. The journey to understand what truly matters had begun. Not as a single revelation, but as an ongoing process. Just as Ethan had seen the world with new eyes, they would now approach life with a deeper appreciation for the simple, yet profound moments that make us truly rich. For it is in those moments of discovery, reflection, and connection that we find the wealth that cannot be bought, but is always within reach.